Welcome to episode 210 of the Campus Comics Cast, and we promise there is no asterisk at the end of the title. This is Scott Reed, and I'm joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison.
And this is going to be our May 2025 pre-orders episode. I almost said previews, but we're no longer focusing on previews, right? We're focusing on next phase. So, speaking of previews, in case you missed the news, Alliance Entertainment, who was supposed to have sneakily purchased Diamond, has backed out of that agreement based on a court order. So now the court has approved the sale of Diamond to both Universal Distribution LLC and Ad Populum, which I assume I've heard of Universal in some shape, form, or fashion. Not so familiar with Ad Populum, but Mike, hopefully this will bring an end to the Diamond bankruptcy saga, and then we'll finally get in the very near future, some finality on what's going to happen. What do you think?
I'm ready for the end of the saga. I can tell you that. I mean, to me, it's just what's the end result here? Where do we need to look? Where do customers need to look to pick their books and order them? That's just it.
I really don't have anything else to add. There's an article, if you just go to diamondcomics.com and look at their news, there's an article there about the court approving that purchase. You can read a little bit more there. So I guess I'm ready for next phase. You ready for next phase?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So first thing is from Ahoy. Do you have anything in Ahoy that you wanted to mention before I throw this one out there?
No, I'm passing Ahoy over and go to the next
All right.
publisher.
All right. So Eric from Longbox Review, we got some suggestions from Eric and from Michael Cathro on some things to consider picking up, and one of them I kind of threw out the request for recommendations kind of last minute, so I was just adding the recommendations to my list right before we started recording, so I don't have a lot to say about any of these recommendations. But the first one is the How trade paperback. This was suggested by Eric for it's basically a sci-fi writer is married, and then the wife has to basically deal with being married to this sci-fi writer, and apparently the events around their marriage become more sci-fi related, is how I quickly take that particular book. I usually don't talk a lot about trades, so that's why it wasn't necessarily on my radar. Do you remember talking about these individual issues, Mike?
No, I don't think I do. No.
Yeah. I think I don't remember seeing them either. So I feel like I missed them at some point. But there you go. How from Ahoy.
Yeah.
What do you got next?
I'm just going to say Eric's got similar taste as I do, and I usually follow his lead if he thinks something's good or maybe going to be good. So I'll mark it down here. He did just recommend recently a series. It's an ongoing series, I believe, called The Power Fantasy. And it's, I think, issue 8 might be solicited this month. But I have caught up and got issues 1 through 7.
Okay, all right. So what do you have next, Mike?
From AWA, I have, and I don't know if it looks like there's a title and a subtitle, and it's got Charlemagne the God Presents Illuminati #1. So it's written by Brian Edward Hill, penciled by Dennis Cowan, inked by Bill Sienkiewicz, no less. And I tell you, I don't know Brian Edward Hill very well. I know I just read a story or a comic, The Power Company Recharged #1 issue just came out this last month or so. And in this particular series, it's a 5-issue series, he's got about the best artist you can find, especially as far as a team up, Dennis Cowan and Bill Sienkiewicz. You look at these sample pages here, and it's just Amazing. So, for no other, I don't really know Mr. Hill very well or know what his work is like, but I would buy this for the art in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that pairing of an artist team on a book. It was that was yeah, that was the big shock to me. I was going to skip it over,
Hmm.
and then whenever I jumped back to it, I said, "Well, it's a number one. Maybe I'll give it a second look." And saw Dennis Cowan first. Is actually the name I saw first, and I remember him from back in there was oh a graphic novel sized 4 issue series for Deathlock.
Oh, okay.
Seeing his artwork from back in the day, and then seeing that Bill Sienkiewicz was going to be inking over the top of Dennis Cowan. Yeah, that definitely piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, it's.
So
I don't know if I'll get the whole series, but I'm going to get issue one just for the art.
yeah, there you go. So backing up to Archie, Michael Cathro wanted to throw out the Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob crossover. So this goes in that list of odd crossovers where you have Archie meets Predator, Archie meets the Punisher. So now Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob. I'm interested to see if we're going to get a 420 scene here in this issue of Archie Comics. I don't know, because that's basically, what Jay and Silent Bob are about.
Yeah, yeah. There's and no lack of variant covers either. Uh,
No.
yeah, I that's not one I would have anticipated, but I think the depictions of Jay and Silent Bob are pretty accurate. They're true to form.
You got anything before Bad Idea?
No, I don't.
All right, so Bad Idea. I've been trying to avoid mentioning Bad Idea comics, and also I usually try to not talk too much about trades in the catalog, but I do want to throw this one out because this was an earlier Bad Idea book, and the reason why I'm throwing it out is that it was written by Matt Kent. So you have a hero trade paperback. I felt like I was being redundant there after the 30,000 preview pages from Planet Death. If I can
Right.
actually get to the page. So the premise behind this book is that this guy finds a superhero just basically almost dead, and he begins to just like sell off his body parts. So, and whenever people are like eating a body part or drinking blood, they're getting like some random superpower. So that's the premise. So if you and these Bad Idea books, this was early on when there wasn't the Kickstarters for all of them, so they weren't as prevalent, to find inside of a store. So you may have missed this one. So it's Matt Kent, art by Dave Lapham. It's a black and white book. Is the only thing that might throw some people off, but the premise is definitely interesting.
Sort of an R-rated Dial H for Hero.
There you go. Yeah,
And it has special introductory pricing at $12.99 for 192
so,
pages.
it's not quite the $9.99 that Image used to do. But,
No.
yeah. Let's see. You got anything else before DC?
No, DC's my next.
All right. Now, I guess my first thing is on 67.
I'm
So, do you
I'm
got
good
anything
until
before
75.
67? 75. Okay. Well, I'm just going to throw out that Gotham City Sirens are getting a weekly series for July called Unfit for Orbit. So it's a 5 issue series. I really only noticed it because it had Terry and Rachel Dodson cover for one of the books.
Hmm.
But and it looks like it's going to be a connecting variant. So you're going to have weekly book for Gotham City Sirens for fans of Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn.
And I mean, it's
I
got.
probably
I guess that's
I
Despero,
probably won't be
right?
picking it up, but yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like him, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
on the one cover, yeah. Let's see, and then I'm up to 75, I think.
That's where I am.
Okay, well, I'll let you talk about this because this was also mentioned by Eric as well, but I knew you'd want to talk about this book.
Well, you know by now I'm a big sucker for Treasury comics, and I'm happy to support.
Keyword there is sucker.
Boy, you nailed that. Yeah. Every time I try to figure out where am I going to rearrange my comic collection to where it doesn't take up this more space than what it's supposed to here, I think, man, I buy too much. But live and you got one life to live. So Superman Treasury 2025 #1. It's written by Dan Jurgens, and I can't think of a whole lot of artists that I'd rather see in that oversized format than Bruno Redondo. He's just one of those top tier modern artists, and it's got the cover is that iconic scene from Superman the motion picture, and with Superman kind of orbiting Earth and sort of low Earth orbit. It's beautiful, and I have a feeling that the whole thing would be something to behold. So I haven't read the solicit closely enough to tell you whether it's going to be an original story. I think it is, which that makes it even better. So I think this is a big pickup for $15. Big, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
But yes.
All right. I'm to 88.
Okay, I'm at 91.
So 88, just a reminder, New Gods Ram V book still going on. Eric wanted to put that out there. And then what page you say you were on?
91.
91? Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so on the bottom half of page 91 in the DC catalog, we have Titans 2025 Annual #1. And what really draws one's attention to this is that it's written and drawn by Phil Jimenez. And it's got that, he will admit to you that he really tried to emulate George Perez, and he does a fantastic job with that symmetrical cover here, with Donna Troy being the central figure and the other 5 sort of surrounding her. It reminds me a bit of the poster that I have of the Titans from early 80s. And it's beautiful. I haven't been picking up the Titans since the main series. I think John Layman's writing it now, and I didn't like the first issue too much. I thought it was pretty dull, so I'm not picking that title up right now. But this I'll pick up just solely because it's Phil Jimenez. And okay, to kind of counter that, where are the editors at on these previews? Because here's literally what it says in the preview, or in the solicit. It says multiple Eisner award-winning superstar artist and storyteller Phil Jimenez of Wonder Woman Historia makes his grand return to another fan favorite, Wonder Woman, in this oversized annual story. First of all, the syntax is all messed up, but then it's mentioned that it's Wonder Woman that's the central figure, and it's not. Mm-hmm. So, come on, guys.
Well, but as Donna Troy never had the Wonder Woman persona.
No, if so, it was very fleeting. So you can't even.
Well,
yeah, no.
So if she was going by Wonder Woman for a time,
I doubt that. I truly doubt it. But now I'm going to have to research that. But I stand by.
There you go.
She's not Wonder Woman now. She's either Wonder Girl,
no.
Donna Troy, or Troya, and it is just a mistake.
Well, and maybe it should have been, instead of capital W Wonder, capital W Woman, it should have just been a Wonder Woman, all lowercase.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's just
okay.
We got an extra.
I can go with that.
Yeah, but Eric at Longbox agrees with you, and his comment is "cuz Phil Jimenez."
Yeah. Okay. See, I told you we think alike.
There you go. All right. 94.
I'm good until 97.
Okay, so again from Eric, Batman Dark Patterns #8. I have not been reading this. Have you been reading this, Mike?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I guess this is something to do with. So it's Case 3. So apparently these are case files, because it says Case 3 Paradola, where Batman is investigating the Red Hood gang.
Oh.
And and then also on 94, we got a shout out for Michael Cathro for a new history of the DC universe, especially the Legacy variant, where you have the massive number of characters on the
Oh
cover.
yeah.
I actually, because it's so small, I actually missed that going through the catalog. So yeah, I'll have to try to make it a point to pick up the new history. I think I ordered the first one because of the cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy all of them, and I'll have a lot of fun. Just if, especially if I can get a poster of it, just or
Oh,
maybe at least a high resolution, you know, JPEG
well,
on the computer.
get you the issues and just flatten it out, and
Yeah,
just
I just want to see if I can find Elongated Man. If I don't, I'm gonna have to have a bone to pick with Mark Wade.
Well, he'll probably be stretching across multiple issues or multiple covers.
Yeah, maybe.
So. And then so let's see, I got 111 next, I think.
I have 97. It's Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice #1. So this seems to be a it's just falling right in line with the Elseworlds line, this resurrection of Elseworlds, and Gotham by Gaslight I believe was the first Elseworlds story, and what they're doing here is bringing in, I guess, Batman's contemporaries from that age and that setting, and it reminds me a bit of some of the other Elseworld stories of the Justice League, which back in the 90s, I collected just about anything that had the prefix of JLA, and yeah, it was. This one looks pretty good. I'm definitely going to get it.
Yeah, Michael Cathro seconds you on that one. He also mentioned that. Yes, please.
All right, Michael.
I'm actually on 102, not 111.
I'm surprisingly light on DC this month, so that's it for me.
Oh, okay. All right. So 111. This is something new from DC. They have what they're referring to as, at least this first time that I've noticed it, DC WIP, work in progress. So this is an oversized 11 by 17. It's basically kind of like the artist editions that you have seen from some other things, but this is, I guess, the artist edition equivalent for the first issue of All Star Superman, which features art and cover by Frank Quitely. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know that they're awesome to look at, but then it's like I look at it one time and then it's kind of in the way, especially in that oversized, because that's even bigger than the Treasuries, I think, the 11 by 17.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good size. But it was I was nice to see. I hope they do that with some more books, and maybe just they'll be some of my favorite. They'll maybe they'll do some Kirby stuff this way.
Well, they did that with the Batman Hush, the new one.
Oh, they did?
Hush 2, yeah. I seen that at a shop recently. The giant, I mean, like you said, bigger than even a tabloid.
Oh yeah, it's like the original art size.
Yeah,
so.
right. That's what they had. I didn't buy it, but it's huge. I mean, it looked pretty cool. I don't I don't know if they're continuing with every issue of Hush 2, but they definitely had that.
Well, they were
one.
doing facsimiles for all of the Hush, the original.
Yeah,
Hush
the originals one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, I was scrolling past page 107 and just noticed that on this Starfire book there is a volleyball on the cover. So now I am unfortunately adding this Starfire
Cami
to
Garcia,
my
Gabriel
order list.
Piccolo. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
so
that's great.
Yeah. Now there's no. I actually had searched for volleyball in the catalog and nothing came up, but that's definitely a volleyball.
That's
so
definitely
I'll be
volleyball. I don't
ordering
know that it might not be central
Yeah.
to the story, but
No,
that's on the
yeah,
cover.
I feel like it's not, but I'm going to order it just in case. And if there's, well, it's got a volleyball on the cover, so I'll put it in the collection. So, page 111, we've got Batman Red Skies. This is a suggestion from Eric, written by Doug Monk and Roy Thomas. Art by Tom Mandrake, Gene Colan, Paul Galassi, and more. Mike, is this a storyline that you've read before?
Not all of them. By 1983, I was too cool for school. I probably wasn't buying any Batman books. I was a junior in high school, senior, the first half of 80, or the first half of the senior year was 83. So I, over time, I picked up some of the Batman books in this era, which was Batman 388 through 400 being collected here, Batman Annual 10, Detective Comics 554 to 567. So I'm familiar with the Nocturna character and her role at the time as being sort of a mother figure to the Jason Todd Robin, but that's about it. In fact, I thought she was a vampire, I think. My memory was telling me she was a vampire, but no, she just has some condition that she got from an accident that makes her very sensitive to light, and the only powers that she has is like teleportation at night. So she's kind of limited that way, but yeah. But one of the many love interests of Batman.
All right, page 119, we got Batman the Demon Trilogy, also suggested by Eric. Oh. And let's see, what's next? 120, Babylon, or Sheriff of Babylon, Tom King, art by Mitch Gerards. Now, we read this for one of the road shows, right? Very first episode.
Yeah, it was the very first episode, yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I just wasn't a huge fan of it, but if you are interested in a war story set in Iraq and you are a fan of Tom King and Mitch Gerards, that is something to take a look at. And then there was one more suggestion here from Michael Cathro. Oh, the DC manga box set. I'll be passing on that. but he thought it looked interesting. So it's got 10 books that collect. I think they were originally released in Japan, and then they were translated over into English. We've seen some of those individual issues pop up in the catalog before. So,
well, you mentioned Tom King, so I'm going to backtrack to page 109, and it's the collection of the Black Canary Best of the Best. Collects that series, or that mini series, issues 1 through 6. I'm telling you, it's one of the best King stuff between that and Wonder Woman that I've read, and it's all based around a prize fight between Shiva and Black Canary.
Oh, cool. All right, you got anything before Image?
No, I'm ready for Image.
I just want to comment. I don't know how much money Drawn and Quarterly spends to get their books in this catalog.
Yeah,
but. And they're putting like 3 panels on a page, and it's just like, man, you could have fit 2 or 3 of those on a single page, and saved yourself some money at a minimum.
Yeah,
and I mean, do you know anybody who has bought a Drawn and Quarterly book?
I think Shad has.
I don't know a single person.
Yeah, Shad. At least Shad has commented on Drawn and Quarterly. Okay. It's very, I don't know. It's very. I don't know how to describe the art.
I would call it cartoony. It's like those Sunday cartoon type of art.
Yeah,
how I would describe it.
And I've read books like that. I mean, it's not even stylized. I would say it's just very. It's very slim. It doesn't have much weight to the drawing at all.
No. All right, Image, which for me starts on page. Where do I start? 176. You want to talk about 176, Mike? Was that on your list?
No, it's not.
Really?
Now I got to look.
Okay, so we have the new Criminals book from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. So this is called The Knives. This was also suggested by Eric at Longbox. So I don't know what number this is, but apparently it's been 5 years since the last criminal book. So it's been a little while in coming out. So,
I mean, I have just recently bought the first issue of the Lazarus. It was like it's a new little series, kind of a post Lazarus proper, and I've got that to read. But I've read some of the Criminal, like we covered Criminal before.
Yeah.
But I've not continued. I would like to.
Page 183, We have The Voice Said Kill. This is a 4-issue series written by Cy Spurrier, art and cover by Vanessa Del Rey. It basically is kind of like a serial killer story set in the Louisiana Bayou. I, I looked at it and then I was interested, and then I thought the premise sounded good, and then I unfortunately looked at the art, and that is just some of the muddiest art that I have seen. It's, yeah, I
Ooh,
don't think I'm
yeah.
gonna order it, but it was also mentioned by Michael Cathro as well, so throwing
Mm-hmm.
that out there. But I did have that on my list, but I just couldn't. I just don't know. I'll give it a second look when I actually go to put in my order. So
Well, I paused at that title because I just recently read a Cy Spurrier done in one graphic novel called. Oh, I'm sorry, not done in one. It was based off of a 4-issue series, I think 4 issues, called Step by Bloody Step, and it was wordless. And let me tell you, it's one of the best books I've read in the last 5 years. It was wonderful. I was amazed at how the artist could tell the story without any dialogue, and yeah, it's really good. And so it made me think, well, I wonder if because Cy Spurrier was kind of hit and miss with me. I haven't. I mean, some of he's normally known to be a very wordy writer, and his Flash will be testament to that. It's like, oh my gosh, this is hurting my head. But yeah, I did pause at this, but again, the art, I'm with you on that. I didn't really care for that.
my next thing's on 212.
Mine's on 211.
Okay, go right ahead.
It's the Unchosen #1 out of 4. It appears to be, if not his first, but maybe a very early outing for David Marquez as a writer, not just an artist. He is one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite modern artists, especially. And this one's sort of it's it's kind of it's sort of dystopian, post-apocalyptic type deal, a la The Last of Us, but it's a 13-year-old, I guess, is maybe the protagonist, and she wakes up in a city already laid waste by a massive explosion, and it turns out she's the one that caused it, and then there are rival forces, and it's yeah. So I'm interested to see if he could be one of these artists, premier artists, that could turn into a decent writer too.
Yeah, Michael Cathro also had that down on his list
Okay.
as a nice twist to focus on the source of the apocalypse instead of the cure. So,
Yeah.
and that was what I had was for Michael was on. I had down page 212 instead of
Oh,
211.
gotcha.
So,
Okay.
263 is where I'm at next.
Uh, I'm at 226, and it's only to say it's the latest offering, the latest issue of I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. It's number 4 of 5. So Mr. Doug Wagner, the the creator and the writer, teamed up with Daniel Hilliard. So I make a point of promoting his stuff every time it comes up, and I've found his stuff to be pretty enjoyable. As preposterous and crazy as it is, it's very enjoyable.
And I just realized what I had down was a second print, so I'm not even going to mention it.
I hate when I do that.
I'm just gonna move on. Now I got to figure out what page number I'm on next, though. So,
I'm up to Mad Cave next.
okay, I think let's see. Yeah, okay, that's where the second print was in Mad Cave. So you go ahead.
Well, I hope it's not the same one you were looking at. This is a graphic novel by Stephen DeKnight and Michael Gaydos, and it's called Beneath, and it's an OGN. And it's the reason it caught my eye, Scott, is that it seemed like it's got a prison angle to it, but it specifically names the prison operator as Core Civil, a for-profit immigration detention center on the Mexico-Texas border. And Core Civic is who that is a play on. Core Civic is a real company that operates detention centers and prisons, and Core Civil, I'm like, they're one letter away from that, almost too close for comfort to me and maybe to the attorneys. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just basically they had to shut down because of bad publicity, and as they are just sort of they've got the place mothballed, and the skeleton crew there find a like a some tunnels underneath or something, and some monsters or something to that effect. So I bring it to the fore simply because it had the name of that company.
Yeah, I kind of had a the Thing feel to me. You know, the remake thing where
Oh,
they're
right.
in Antarctica, except for this time they're on the U.S. Mexico border, so
Yeah.
not quite as remote. But let's see, I'm in Massive Indies is where I'm at.
Oh, I'm at
so I'm after
250.
Mad Cave.
254 is Look Into My Eyes, and it's another one where I don't know that the premise really grabbed me as much as the art did. The sample art looks fantastic. It's by Rubine and Francisco Segala. Yeah, it's one of those high school student mysteriously vanishes, and there's conspiracies and monsters and all that good stuff. So I'm not sure if I'll get it, but like I said, the art really caught my eye.
Still at 280.
Yeah, I'm up in Oni Press.
All right, so this is from Massive Indies, AMP Comics, and this is one of those solutions for the small press publisher to try to get some of their books out. But this is a book called Love Struck, and the premise is that a private investigator accidentally kills Cupid. And of course, that's absurd, but it has already apparently been optioned by Ryan Riddle's production company, Maximum Effort. So this may be turned into a television series sometime in the near future.
All right.
Then we have on page, there's not page numbers, so 282, Rosario Origins. This is a one-shot, so it says it's an origin story. I'm going to call it a prequel. So apparently there's an upcoming horror movie called Rosario. I haven't heard of it. But what's interesting, and I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name, it's got David Dastmalchian, who was the Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like Scarecrow and Batman. He's been all over kind of like the DC universe.
Yeah.
So he's like the lead in this. So I thought that was something interesting worth throwing out there. And then I'm at 301.
Okay, I'm at 318, so go ahead.
Okay, so I only because it's Rocketeer.
Oh,
You've got
I left
these
that for
collector
you.
coins.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ordering these. I'm just going to put that out there. But for the Rocketeer fan who feels like they have to have everything, they've got two collector's coins. One of them is bronze. One of them is signature silver. But it's important to note that they say they're bronze and silver, but they contain no precious metal. and they're retail priced at $38 and $70 respectively. So
Not suitable
I'm
as
not
currency.
ordering them. Yeah, I'm not ordering these, but
You're not the Rocketeer completist.
I am not the Rocketeer completist. That is for sure. So I'll stick with my comics and my statue, and I'm good. So
There you go.
let's see. Got what am I on? I'm on Oni Press as well. So what do you got?
I got 318.
318. Okay, so before 318,
okay.
we've got 305, the next EC Comics book, Catacomb of Torment. I guess they're just doing like 3 or 4 issues and then coming up with a new title so they can get another number 1. This is a 40-page issue that does include a Matt Kent story. So thus I'm throwing it out there. And then on 311, you have the 6-gun Battle for the Sixth number 1. So we got a new 6-gun story. This was suggested by Eric. So Cullen Bunn is the writer on these series. Brian Hurton, of course, Cullen Bunn is relatively local to us. He's kind of in southeast Missouri, so he's not very far away.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm at 318 then, and it's the fifth and final issue of Out of Alcatraz by Christopher Cantwell and art by Tyler Crook. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm really enjoying this series. I think I've read issue 2. Yeah, I'm through issue 2, but I'm wanting to cover this or talk about it on the next What We've Been Reading episode. It's Yeah, maybe I shouldn't even get too much into it and save it for the episode, but I'm telling you, it's really good. And Cantwell, he's just one of those better writers that they have out there.
All right. I think I've only got one thing in Titan left. Is all I have.
Okay. I've got also one in Titan on page 350.
Okay, didn't put a page number down, so go ahead and then I'll catch up.
Well, on page 350, the only reason I mention this is because I seen Gail Simone's name. It's a title called Rebel Moon Nemesis. Doesn't ring a bell to me. It's a new series. It's kind of under the heading of Zack Snyder's, so I'm not sure if this was a movie.
Well, let me fill you in, Mike.
Okay,
so,
please.
Zack Snyder wanted to do a Star Wars movie. So apparently nobody at Disney/Lucasfilm would let him do that.
Oh.
So he took his plot, retitled it as Rebel Moon, and they released two 2.5 hour movies on Netflix.
Oh.
So this is an origin story for one of those characters named Nemesis, and if there was a breakout character in the show, this is the closest thing to a breakout character. You have this person who, if it would have been a Star Wars treatment, she would have been a Jedi Knight.
Mm-hmm.
She had, however, lost both of her arms, and they were replaced with mechanical arms. And she was basically wielding lightsabers, so they obviously couldn't call them lightsabers. But she was the trained fighter. So they're basically this is that character from Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
This is the second Rebel Moon series. There was another prequel story that was a 4-issue story, not written by Gail Simone. And I also would not have mentioned this if it hadn't been for Gail Simone's name on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's certain creators that jump out at you, so yeah, I would have passed right over it. It's Titan Comics, first of all, but
yeah.
Now it makes me want to.
They're doing a lot of syndicated, or not syndicated stuff, licensed.
Did you watch the movies on Netflix?
I did. They're not great. They're okay.
Okay.
But they're not outstanding. They're not the level that I would expect from. I'm generally a Zack Snyder fan, and I wasn't super like when they released the second part. It's not like I had to rush out and watch it the minute it came out. It was weeks after it came out before I watched the second part.
Okay.
So they're okay, but they're not great.
Gotcha.
I think I'm done. I'm ready for Marvel. If you're ready for Marvel.
Yeah, I am. I have got a few, actually more in Marvel than anything else. But it's probably overlapping with a lot that you have too. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I actually only had a few things from Marvel myself, but we do have several from Eric and Michael here to add in. So I haven't opened up my Marvel catalog previews yet, though. So my first thing is on page. What page is it on? Page 2. So you got anything? Well, Fantastic Four #1. So we got a new #1. This is going to be written by Ryan North. I'm on the wrong one here. There's 2 new Fantastic Four #1s. I'm on the First Steps #1, not the regular series #1. So spoiler of what's coming up, right?
Right.
But we've got new series artist Humberto Ramos. And this was one of Eric's question is, what do we think about Humberto Ramos taking over as artist on this book? Mike, you got a comment?
Oh, I mean, he's the selling point to me because wasn't North writing the book already and they rebooted just because we got a new artist, or no?
Yep. I'd say Marvel does that a lot when they get, quote, a new creative team. They start over with a new #1.
But it's the same writer, right?
It's the same writer, but it's a new artist.
See, that's the
So we've
killer.
got
Yeah, I
yeah.
that kind of aggravates me, man. But I will still probably get the number one issue. I just think Ramos is great, and North I think has been doing a great job with Fantastic Four. Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, why not? Let me add
Yeah.
my name to the rolls of people that impulsively buy number ones.
All right. So, well, like I said, Eric says that this Ryan North run on Fantastic Four is a must read. I haven't
Okay,
read any of them yet, so maybe I'll go back since I can get that in unlimited and pick that up. Maybe I should just jump back and start where Ryan North started and play a little catch up and see how it is. So.
very good.
Page 6, speaking of FF, we have Fantastic Four First Steps #1. So this is going to be a tie-in to the movie, all right, the upcoming movie, which will be out, let's see, when does this book come out? They don't give us a date, but it's Fantastic Four is out at the end of July, so this should be June, July, should be on the shelves. Both of these should be on the shelves whenever the movie comes out, so that's at least some good timing there on Marvel's part. So now they'll give people a tie-in. And what I think is interesting about this Fantastic Four First Steps is we have it written by Matt Fraction, and that's a name I've not heard from Marvel in quite a while. So I normally wouldn't even mention a movie tie-in except for the fact that Matt Fraction's name's on it. So.
Right.
Page 8, Captain America #1. So Marvel for a while now has been alternating Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson titles. So, after J. Michael Straczynski finished his run, we had a Sam Wilson run. Now we're switching back to a Steve Rogers run. This one is going to be written by Chip Zdarsky.
Yep.
So I will be picking this up, and this is kind of a retcon story where it's going to tell the story of Steve Rogers' first meeting with one Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I saved that one for you too. I had it marked down, but
Well, I appreciate that, so thank you very much. So, let's see. I'm not until 32.
okay. On page 12, we have another appearance of Godzilla crossing companies back and forth. This time he's out to destroy the Marvel Universe. It's the first of a five issue series written by Jerry Duggan and art by Javier Garron. And the wraparound cover by Mark Brooks looks really good. I mean, I'm not a Godzilla person, but
Me neither.
it's it was worth noting maybe.
Page 21. You got anything before 21?
No.
Did you want to talk about 21?
Well, let me see what it is.
So it's
Oh, yeah.
Imperial, issue #2.
Yeah.
This is just a continuation of the Marvel crossover event. Now, Eric had this one down on his list as something to take a look at.
Mhm.
We talked about the first issue just as the latest crossover. Now, I vaguely remember scrolling down my feed and seeing there's something apparently big is going to happen in the first issue of Imperial. It's not out yet. Should be coming out next month, I think. So June. So I don't know. There's maybe a little bit of buzz about this series.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. It's a 4-part cosmic that's supposed to shake up the Marvel Cosmic Universe. So there you go. If you're in the shop and you happen to see it, might be worth grabbing one just in case. So
That's good advice.
even if you don't plan on reading it.
Right.
Let's see. Where's all the One World Under Doom stuff?
That's
have we-
later on,
have
I believe. It's farther back.
Okay. All right. Because that was mentioned by Michael Cathro as well. Just he likes the big company-wide crossover books.
Okay.
So he wanted to throw that one out there.
Okay.
I'm on 32 is my next thing.
I'm on 28. It's Werewolf by Night, Blood Moonrise #1. Michael Giacchino and Jason Liu are writers. David Messina covers the art, and it's the actual writer, I guess, is the director from the Marvel Studios special around Halloween. I think maybe in 22 or 23.
Yeah,
And
sounds about right.
I remember we talked about it, and I think we
Hmm.
mostly all of us enjoyed it, and I
Hmm.
definitely enjoyed it. So
Oh, I did too.
yeah, I wish they did more of these kind of Marvel horror titles, or these little one-offs in on the Disney streamer.
I just want to throw this out there because it was part of the intro. We have Thunderbolts asterisk. So this is new Thunderbolts asterisk. And have you heard what the asterisk is, Mike?
No.
Okay, so spoiler for anybody listening, skip 30 seconds. It's the new Avengers. So the Thunderbolts become the new Avengers,
No
and they actually
way.
have apparently
What?
been retitling this in some of the promotional material for the movie. So there you have it.
I shouldn't be
Page
surprised.
30, yeah, page 32. You have Spider Girl #2. This is a new Spider Girl. I'm only mentioning this because it's an appearance by Lady Bullseye as the villain, who was introduced in the Daredevil run.
Hmm.
So it's a character you don't see a lot of, but is a fan favorite.
Is her is that her is Bullseye her father, or
So she was inadvertently rescued by Bullseye. So what happened is she was I don't know, she was being human trafficked or something, and Bullseye was sent to basically kill the people who happened to be holding her, and that incident inspired her.
okay? All right.
So thus she is yeah, Lady Bullseye.
Okay.
No relation, no direct connection, and she was in the Hit Monkey Hulu series, animated. So
Yeah. I'm just a couple
let's
pages
see.
later on 34. X-Men by Chris Claremont, the prelude to a future past. And Scott, you'll have to correct me if I misstep here, but apparently this is this is this a reprint, or is this just going back and telling the story of what led to Days of Future Past?
It looks to me like it's a reprint because it says at the bottom, reprinting Marvel Paragon Collection,
Oh, there
Chris
it is. Yeah,
Claremont.
there we go. Yep.
Uncanny X-Men 140.5, which I don't know when that was released because they weren't doing point fives whenever
Yeah.
whenever those titles were actually coming out. So that would have been much later. And then 141 and 142, which is the original Days of Future Past two-issue stories by Claremont and Byrne.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think
So yeah,
Byrne
I
was
don't.
doing anything. Claremont might do something once in a while with
Yeah,
Marvel, but I thought Byrne had
yeah. So I
sequestered
would say
himself.
that the 140.5 is the Salvador LaRocca
Oh,
portion,
I see. Okay.
and the 141 and 142 is the John Byrne
Okay.
portion. But I have never read this 140.5, so I'm not familiar with.
Okay. I'm not
There's
until.
all the One World Under Doom books. So
Yeah.
let's see. My next thing is actually 129, unless I see something here that somebody else mentioned. So you got anything before 129?
No, I do not.
All right. Michael wanted to throw out the Marvel Team Up Omnibus hardcover.
Oh, yeah.
And then also the Scooby. Okay, this I think was in DC. I must have missed it. The Scooby Apocalypse Omnibus hardcover as well. So
Okay.
yeah, so I missed that in DC. So sorry about that, Michael. My last thing is, did you say you were done?
No, I page 81.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
81 is the Fantastic Four number 50. It's the facsimile. I doubt that I'll ever have this issue. I've got only one of the original trilogy, Galactus trilogy, and would you say this is the most valuable of the three?
No, 48 is the most valuable
48
of the
would
three.
be okay.
Yeah, 48 is the first Silver Surfer. 49 is the Galactus. 50
Okay.
is just the conclusion of the story.
Okay.
So they've already facsimiled 48 and 49. So
Yeah. So I thought I'd grab this just to fill in the blanks in my collection.
well, now it says Marvel is reprinting the 1961 Galactus trilogy as it originally appeared over 3 months. I think they've already done. I think they did 48 and 49 the last 2 months.
Yeah, I would
This
think
is the
so if
third
they
month of
had.
that.
Yeah, or if
Yeah,
they.
it wouldn't make any sense to do it in reverse order.
Right.
I'm still at 129.
That's it for me.
All right. So here's your you think you know, and then you learn something new. All right. So page 129, we have the Micronauts Epic Collection. Now this is the non-omnibus softcover, less expensive version. But I was reading this and I noticed that it said at the end, collecting Micronauts 21 to 35, Annual 2, and material from Marvel Preview 4 and 7. And I was like,
Oh.
what? Because Marvel Preview 4 and 7 came out before Micronauts was released. So I was like, okay. So I went and checked my Omnibus, Volume 2, and sure enough, it's listed there in the Omnibus. Now, I haven't cracked the seal on my Omnibus because I was just going to keep it sealed up and because I have all these individual issues. So it's just for the shelf. But so I went online. It's like I couldn't find any mention of any Micronauts in these two issues. And Marvel Preview number 4 is actually a pretty expensive book because it's the first appearance of Star-Lord.
Yeah.
And I thought, why is this reprinted in here? Well, come to find out, and I asked this on a Micronauts Facebook group and got some very quick responses on this. But Marvel Preview number 4 and 7 includes a Bill Mantlo story where he introduces the Microverse. So this is even before Marvel had the license to the Micronauts.
Ah.
He introduced the Microverse. And I don't think it was completed, but you get bits and pieces of that story in Marvel Preview number 4 and Marvel Preview number 7. And I think somebody said, I haven't read it yet, that it ties in, there's like Doctor Strange is like going into the Microverse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to track those down and read them, or heck, I might even order this trade just so I can actually read these, because the Marvel Preview number 4 is going to take me a little while to track down and to drop the money on, because again, that's that first Star-Lord appearance.
Right.
So yeah, learn something. So, all right. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything else Marvel from anybody. I don't think so. So yeah, I think we're ready to move on to Penguin Random House panels.
Okay.
So, do you have anything from panels?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't.
Well, then it'll be quick, right?
Yeah.
Because I've just got the one thing, and actually it's not mine. It's mentioned by Eric. You have from IDW Star Trek Red Shirts. This is a new series. I haven't, of course, you're familiar with the concept of red shirts. They're the ones that get sent down, and there's always a red shirt that dies on all the away team missions. So Eric thought this sounded interesting. And that's all I had for panels myself. Actually, I wasn't even me. So, do you have anything from the Pullbox site or anything else?
Well, when you say panels, I looked at Boom separately because I get confused about who's in what catalog. So when I went to the Penguin Random House site, I pulled down the Boom catalog.
Okay.
And there is on page 7. If you give me a second here, it's
Sure, no
Be Not Afraid, 1 of 6 by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, and illustrated by Lissandro Esterin. The cover looks very painterly, and it kind of has this Rosemary's Baby vibe to it, sort of religious gothic horror overtones, folk horror, and it caught my eye enough that I'm maybe, unless I find out in the first issue it's a bridge too far as being sacrilegious. I still got enough of my mom in me that I'm being I get a little feel a little weird about anything that's too far that direction. But yeah, it's Be Not Afraid number 1. That's all I had out of everything else.
All right. I got several things from Michael Cathro here to kind of wrap us up, and I'll talk about a few of them and then I'll just move on. So I did not go through the previews Pullbox site very in depth. I think if I
Yeah.
had, I might have mentioned this one. But we have from Midnight Factory, We Don't Kill Spiders, Season of the Witch, issue number 1. Okay, so this is a sequel to the We Don't Kill Spiders. So maybe I wouldn't have mentioned this, but it's from Midnight Factory. Early Viking Age, a Norse detective and his necromantic witch companion. So that is kind of
Oh.
interesting. It makes me want to track down the first We Don't Kill Spiders.
I just wish I would find more things in the previews, even after all these other
Mm-hmm.
publishers have left. I feel like it's just
Yep.
a lot of good stuff is buried with stuff that doesn't catch my attention at all. So just I don't have time to go through that much of it. But I agree with you. This looks pretty good.
All right, so Will Eisner, comics biography, and then Big Rig, Post Malone's Big Rig. This is from Vault Comics number 1.
Okay.
Collects chapters 1 and 2. They prayed for a miracle. They got 25 tons and 18 wheels of holy weapon. All right, and then some more Godzilla stuff. Godzilla escaped the dead zone. And then there was a pre-code classics Daredevil comics, which of course we did the. That's a PS art book.
Right.
We talked about Daredevil in a first 5 not too terribly long ago. So, all right, you got anything else, Mike, worth mentioning?
No, it's sort of a slim month.
Okay.
But hey, I'm sure I'll make up for it next month or some future month.
There you go. I did you have a pick, financial or something you're looking forward to?
Well, if only because of you helped me out there. So
Oh.
the which one was it with the Ryan Reynolds? Rosario?
No, that was Lovestruck.
Lovestruck. Yeah,
That
that's
had
the one
the
I.
Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah, Lovestruck. It. Hey, that seems like as good as any. Ryan Reynolds seems to have that celebrity draw. So
Yep.
I would recommend that.
Yeah, that's not a terrible one to pick. I'll probably I don't really see anything that would be any better than that, to be honest. Even though I don't plan on picking it up, just because of the concept that the voice said kill, which is that one that's set in the Louisiana Bayou. That could potentially be interesting.
From Cy
Hey,
Spurrier.
what are you looking forward to?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, definitely the Treasury edition. Now that I've read that closely enough to see that it's a new story or it's something fresh. Then again, man, that Titans annual with Phil Jimenez, I could go for that too. I mean, I didn't have many DC picks, but all 3 of them, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want these.
Right. Well, for me, it's going to be that new Captain America title. Steve Rogers is back. Chip Zdarsky writing. So it's nice that we've had some pretty good writers on the Steve Rogers cap between J. Michael Straczynski and now Chip Zdarsky. So hopefully that will continue.
And if I were to pick,
what we didn't.
if I were to pick a Marvel #1 or a Marvel, what I'm looking forward to, it'd be the Fantastic Four #1 with that Ramos art.
Cool. So we'll skip the next episode because we haven't talked about that yet. So, Mike, you got anything coming up on the road show?
Yes, we should have something here in the next week or so, depending on our schedules. But it's a coverage of a tabloid book. We did that once early on, you and Shad and I. But this is a DC Treasury covering the Superman and Flash races. And it was recommended by a guy named Jacob, who has a shop in Hickory, North Carolina, called Time Tunnel Comics. So you should see that in your feed soon, folks.
Or maybe it's already there.
Oh, maybe.
All right. And then, Mike, if somebody wanted to reach out to you beside podcast at bergcomics.com, where might they do that?
I'd say Mike at comicshoproadshow.com as far as an email, or you can hit me up on our Campus Comics Cast Facebook page, or even on Blue Sky. But send me a personal or a PM or whatever, or a DM, because I don't really look at the feed that often. If I get a notification, I definitely will look. But I'd love to hear from some people, whether it be about Scott and I, the stuff we're doing here, or Roadshow.
All right, now I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at burgcomics.com, B-U-R-G comics.com, where you'll find links to my social media pages and eBay store. Thanks again to Eric and Michael for
Yes.
contributing some suggestions for this pre-orders episode, and we'll be back soon with episode 211.
Okay, I can see absolutely nothing inside of Discord. All I have is a "Did you know?" and
Well, I've got on the chat here. It says it's recording, and it has a button that says stop recording.
so mine stopped and then it came back. I'm just gonna, since we're done, don't quit yet. I'm gonna get out and then come back in and see if it picks me back up. So I'll be right back, one way or the other.
I won't leave.
Okay, well actually I said I would get out and it hasn't closed yet. Close window. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're there.
Alright, so Discord, even though I have no place to access it on my screen, is still running someplace.
Oh boy.
Okay, so where, oh where is Discord at? I guess I have to do the old task manager here.